Hello, I'm Alex G. Zarate. I'm an author, artist, and photographer. I write urban fantasy, supernatural suspense, and sci-fi. In 2021, I'll finish my Connected Trilogy and publish a sci-fi novel. My latest book is Reflections in Darkness. Reflections in Darkness is a supernatural suspense novel. The main character Tommy and his cat Snowy are able to teleport and see thoughts. When three strangers arrive in town looking for help, Tommy and Snowy must overcome past trauma as danger approaches, bringing devastation and darkness none of them can face alone. I try to reveal something new in every book of the series. From the very beginning, there were questions about Snowy's family. He and the litter had been put into a sack and tied up, tossed into a lake. Snowy teleported and found his way to Tommy. In this book, we find out what happened to the rest of the litter. One of the minor characters that became a favorite is Samuel. Samuel comes from a broken home. His mother left him and his father, and his father works very hard and tries to give him a happy childhood. Samuel's 8 years old, and he sees adventure everywhere. He pretends to be invisible, he pretends to be a warrior, a detective, and a penguin. He is a character who has all the imagination that I remember as a child. When you read a book or go see a movie, you imagine having all that happen to you and living those adventures yourself. He's a great character. He comes and goes in the novel, and he helps Tommy a couple times. And up until now, he's always been a minor character. I've always liked him. And he'll always be a favorite. A familiar situation is in the beginning when Tommy is fighting off bullies. Like many quiet kids, I know what it's like to have been bullied. When I first started this series, I wanted to be sure to include bullying in the story. This way, I could address the issue and show the need to stop those who practice fear and intimidation. I'll be reading a couple pages out of the first chapter. Tommy pushes Matt with all his strength, sending him backward in surprise. The bully's outstretched hand that had been reaching for Matt misses, and instead takes hold of Tommy, as he knew it would. As he flies through the air, Matt braces himself for the grass and dirt scraping against his forearms and cheek. He tries to catch himself for a quick recovery, only to roll on his back again, hitting the back of his head on the ground. Matt raises his head and glares at Tommy, knowing he will not be allowed back into the fray until after it's over. The two bullies who Matt had been confronting now ignore him, choosing to take up the fight with Tommy instead. "That's my friend," Matt thinks, full of rage. Yet somehow the words don't occupy the same meaning they once did. Matt and Tommy had a falling out. Ever since that camping trip, Matt thinks, shaking his head, a lifetime ago. He realizes briefly that despite his best efforts, neither have found a way to mend the damage to their friendship. They've been civil to one another, and he even helps to cover for Tommy whenever he gets into these scrapes. But friends? Matt remembers when they used to be best friends. "You okay?" James asks, coming up to Matt and helping him to his feet. "Yeah, I could have taken him." Matt glances over to the scuffle as both bullies close in on Tommy. "Maybe. We'll never know. He never lets us try." James holds out a dirty brown hoodie, gesturing for Matt to take it. "I got the extra one from my locker. Better put it on before this is over." Matt nods, noticing James wearing a similar hoodie. Matt and James once had a debate on which of them would step up if Tommy lost a fight. Matt became the obvious choice because he was willing to jump in no matter how big or crazy the bullies were. Then, over time, they started to realize that Tommy wasn't going to lose. Regardless of Matt's or James' willingness to help, Tommy had changed in recent years. He used to be someone who stood up to bullies. Now he takes them on as if it were a personal vendetta. Maybe it is, Matt thinks, seeing the brutish teens close in on Tommy and do their best to beat on him. Ever since we got back, he's been... His thoughts trail off. You taking the rap on this, or am I? James asked, seeing the fight and recognizing the tactic used by Tommy before, drawing the bullies in so he could catch them by surprise. There's two of them. Let's say it was both of us. Matt smiles, noticing how Tommy is good at close-up fighting. He's the most dangerous when he gets closer, Matt thinks, wincing as bullies hit Tommy with a few blows, yet Tommy remains resolute, watching each movement and waiting for his opening. Sounds good. I'll circle around the left. Matt winces as a hoodie sleeves scrape against his forearms. I'm on the right, James says, heading back through the crowd of onlookers, ignoring the fight and trying not to let the urge to help pull him into another confrontation with Tommy. At the center of the crowd, Tommy's been held down by the two bullies. Each takes turn trying to either punch or kick him while they struggle to hold him still. Tommy moves his head when one tries to punch him in the face and arches his back when the other tries to kick him in the ribs, which proves fruitless. Each blow comes slower to Tommy's eyes as he looks at them in fury, his eyes gleaming in the sunlight above, seeing more than the surrounding crowd is capable of. The bully to his right plays on the football team, Oscar Johns. His friends call him Ox. Big, burly, and confident in his size, Ox is certain he can get away with anything, including beating on the younger and weaker kids whenever he feels like it. Up until now, he's gotten away with it. This is the first time one of the kids has tried to fight back. Despite his confidence, he's unsure about the outcome of this encounter. Usually he and his buddy Eek beat on a kid or two and get money or grab some snacks with enough time to enjoy the rest of the lunch before heading back. He has a football scholarship waiting for him. The longer the fight takes, the less chance he has of getting away. The bully to Tommy's left is taller, thinner, but surprisingly stronger. Elroy Epstein, the son of a wealthy contributor to the school. His friends call him Eek. He hasn't passed all of his tests but expects to graduate along with the rest of his friends. The school counselor already told him he just needs to show up to class, and they'll pass him. There's a quota for the school this year, and the administrators are eager to fill it. To Eek, this means he can do pretty much whatever he wants until graduation. He doesn't study, he doesn't pay attention in class. He just shows up, hits on every girl he sees, and beats up on the little kids for fun. His life is perfect. Tommy sees every thought in their heads, displayed like shimmering mirages, coming off them in waves. He sees every punch they're about to use, and every kick they're trying to send. He sees their plans and their confidence, and every bad thing they've done in their lives, certain no one will ever halt their dark momentum. That's a little taste of first chapter of Reflections in Darkness. You can find me at alexgzarate.com or on social media under Alex G. Zarate. Reflections in Darkness is currently available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, and Apple Books. Thank you for joining me.